In Module 3, Lesson 11, we're going to extend our understanding of angle problems and solving equations by practicing a little more. So you'll recall from last lesson that we were looking at the angle relationships and describing them in complete sentences, and then writing an equation to solve for x. So this particular relationship is a straight line. These angles form a straight line, which is 180 degrees. And then our equation would be x plus 90, since this is a right angle, plus 14 equals 180. We'll combine the like terms. X plus 104 equals 180. And that would mean that x equals 76. In the next problem, they tell us that CD and EF are intersecting lines. And they tell us that because sometimes when you're looking at a figure, it looks like lines are bent. It just kind of plays with your eyes. So in a complete sentence, they ask us to describe the angle relationship in the diagram. And this one is circular. Form a circle, which means that is 360 degrees. So then we will we can add everything together, knowing that these two angles are congruent. But I believe before we do that, we may have to settle something else. If EF is a straight line, and we know 147 for C for this angle, they haven't labeled their midpoint, then that would mean that this angle completes I'm going to label that angle X just for our own use. And by the way, since these are vertical angles, this one is also called X. They are the same measurement, vertical angles. And then let's write the straight line equation for these two angles. X plus 147 equals 180. We'll solve that. And so x equals 33. And now we can easily solve the circular by adding 147 plus 33 plus 51 plus y plus 33. And the 33's come from the fact that we solved for x. So we know this is 33 and this is 33. And altogether they equal 360 degrees. So we'll combine our like terms, adding all of our numbers together. Which gives us 264 plus y equals 360 degrees. And then finally y equals 96 degrees. Figure C. again, is a circular relationship, which means it adds up to 360 degrees. And in this case, it appears that we have everything that we need. This is a right angle, 90 degrees, and all of the other angles are labeled. So 59 plus 41 plus b plus 65 plus 90 equals 360 degrees. We'll combine our like terms, which equals 255 plus b equals 360, and then it follows then that b equals 105. In figure D, they tell us that the three lines are intersecting at one point. And of course, they're asking for the relationship. There are a variety of vertical angles here, as well as a circular relationship and straight line relationships. So there are circular, straight line, and vertical angle relationships. And they're asking us to solve for z, telling us that these two angles are z and the fact that they are both z means that they are congruent. But what I'm looking at is the straight line that contains these three angles, because this straight line will allow us to write this equation, z plus 158 plus z equals 180. Simplifying, we have 2z plus 158 equals 180, and it follows then that 2z equals 22, and 1z would equal 11. Once we know that information, we also know that the vertical angle from 158 is also 158. And frankly, when we look at the intersection of these lines, we know that the vertical angle from this z is congruent. So this one is also the same measurement, 11. And the vertical angle from this z, which is over here, is also congruent, making it 11 degrees. In figure E, they're asking us to write an equation for the angle relationship in this figure and solve for x. In a complete sentence, they asked us to describe the angle relationship and then find the measurements of EPB and CPA. All right, first of all, it is a straight line relationship, and that is, of course, 180 degrees. And we know all three measurements because this is x. Our middle angle is a 90-degree angle since it's marked, and our bottom angle is 5x. And altogether they equal 180 degrees. Combining our like terms, we get 6x plus 90 equals 180. And that means then that 6x is equal to 90. And so it follows that x equals 15. So angle EPB is 15 degrees, and angle CPA is 15 times 5, which is 75 degrees. Example 1 is showing a figure that has 3 lines intersecting at one point. In a complete sentence, the angle relationship then is circular. Which is 360 degrees. But of course, we have 3 missing angles. So in order to find our angles, we want to first of all find a straight line in which we know all but one of the angles. And I see one right here. If we do 86, and we'll call this x plus 68, that is a straight line. I can call this x because I know that these are straight lines, and that makes this a vertical angle to the other x, and they are congruent. They have the same measurement. We'll combine our like terms, which is 154 plus x, and that means that x is equal to 26. Exercise 1. We have 4 lines intersecting at a point. It is, of course, a circular relationship and vertical angles, as well as straight angles, or straight lines. Same thing, but don't want to confuse you. Again, what we're looking for then are places where the only thing we're looking for is one measurement. So if I look at this relationship, I have an x and a y in the straight line, but that won't help because you can't solve for 2 variables at the same time. We have a straight line here, and while it looks like we have 3 measurements, we really don't, because x and then nothing doesn't help either. So I would suggest the first thing we want to do is look at our vertical angles. In the case of 96 and y, they are vertical angles. So y is equal to 96. And now that does help, because we can find the value of x if we know that this is 96. So we're going to do x plus 25 plus 96 plus 40 is equal to 180 degrees. Again, that is x, 25, 96, which is the value of y because they're vertical angles, and 40, and they all equal 180 degrees. We'll combine our like terms. Which gives us 161. And so it follows that x is equal to 19. Remember, we knew that y is equal to 96 degrees because it is a vertical angle to one that's already there. In example 2, we have a variety of angles in the diagram. We have some straight line relationships and a circular relationship. But some of the things we ought to do first are take a look at our vertical angles. This angle across from 77 degrees has to be 77 because it is a vertical angle to the 77-degree angle. And likewise, the angle across from x has a measurement of x as well because it is vertical to x. Yes, looking carefully. I notice we have a ray that's cutting this angle apart. So we're probably best not to use that 77, even though I know that this entire angle, including the two adjacent angles, would be 77. For the sake of this lesson, I think I'm going to eliminate that. So I think the next thing that we need to do is take a look at the straight line that is being formed by this right angle plus 77 plus x. So we'll do x plus 90 plus 77 equals 180 degrees. Combining like terms, x plus 167 is equal to 180, and that means that x is equal to 13 degrees. One more, exercise 2. Write an equation for the angle relationship shown in the figure and solve for x and y. Remember, we cannot solve for both x and y at the same time. And this is a circular relationship, but we're going to need to solve using the straight line first. And what I see is, let's go this way. Since we have x plus 27 plus 90, since this is a right angle. So we can write x plus 27 plus 90 equals 180 degrees. It's a straight line. Combining like terms, that would give us x plus 117 equals 180. And then it follows that x is equal to 63. Once we know that x is 63, we can solve for y because we know this is a right angle plus y plus x, which is 63. So now we will do 90 plus 63 plus y equals 180 degrees. Combining our like terms, we have 153 plus y equals 180. And that means then that y is equal to 27. Example 3. The angle relationships in this diagram, we actually do have a circular relationship because they have given us the measure of this very obtuse angle, which is 225 degrees. We know that this is 90 degrees, and we know 2x and 3x. So we actually have everything we need to write our equation for a circular relationship. 225 plus 2x plus 90 plus 3x equals 360 degrees. We'll combine our like terms. So we got 5x plus 315 equals 360. So it follows that 5x is equal to 45, and x is equal to 9 degrees. A similar relationship is found in exercise 3, and they have given us some measure for each. So we can say 5x plus 24 plus x plus 90 degrees, which is the measurement of this angle, equals 360 degrees. Combining our like terms, we have 6x plus 114 equals 360. And so 6x is equal to 246. And then when we divide, we find that x is equal to 41 degrees. And the measurement then of JKG would be 41 degrees. The measurement of LKM, on the other hand, would be 41 times 5, which is 205 degrees. In example 4, they tell us that the measure of DBE is 4 times the measure of FBG. We're going to label DBE as Y and FBG as X. And then write an equation that describes the relationship between DBE and FBG. Keeping in mind that they told us DBE, which is Y, is equal to 4 times the measure of FBG, which is X. So Y is equal to 4X. Now, finding the value of X is going to require us to know a little something about our diagram. But we have 3 straight lines that are intersecting at the same point. And that means that the angle across from Y would be congruent. So angle FBA also has a measurement of Y. And angle GBE is vertical to angle ABC. So it has a measurement of 50. And that leaves us with one more angle that is vertical to angle X, And so we'll label it as well. Now, keeping in mind that the measurement of angle y is 4x, let's go back in here and remind ourselves that the measurement of y is 4x. Because we can't find two variables in the same equation, we can only find one. But now when we look at this straight line relationship, we have 50 plus 4x plus x equals 180. So we have 50 50 plus 4x plus x equals 180 degrees. Combine our like terms. 50 plus 5x equals 180. And so 5x equals 130. And x equals 26. Then they ask us to find the measure of FBG, which would be 26, CBD, which is also 26, ABF, which was 4 times 26, it's 104. GBE, which we already knew was 50. DBE, which again was 104. And then when we add them all together, we should get 360 degrees. Take a moment to add all of those values together to prove to yourself that it worked.